Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, April 14th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, welcome. Please smash that thumbs up button right away. Whenever I take a few days off, the algorithm punishes me by not sending me very many viewers. So we got 42 people here right now. Let's see if we can smash those thumbs up and get a few more people sent our way. All right, well, I'm loving the way this chart looks. This is gorgeous to me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I can see what's happening with the market as clear as can be in this moment. What we've got is a 3-day balancing area, okay, which is literally right beneath the previous balancing area, okay? And we still have a little bit of gap left that we need to fill above us, but we unquestionably have a balance area high and a balance area low, right? Because of the repeated, as soon as we crossed through it to the upside, we opened here in the overnight, crossed through it up here, came back down to the opposite end, found support, crossed through it, came back down to the opposite end, found support. We've now crossed through it again at the end of the day yesterday, and then spent the overnight balancing around right in that area that I would call the balance area high, okay? So yesterday's trade was pretty bullish. Let's just expand out yesterday's profile. Oh, shit, I'm on the NQ. That's why there's still a gap. Sorry, guys. Same story, same exact thing, 3-day balance. So basically what we're looking for today is what happens in relation to yesterday's high. Can the market push above there, come back down and find support? That way, we should trade up to the opposite end of the previous 3-day balance that we had up over here. Okay? But if we fail, if we look above and fail once again of this balancing area, we would target the lows. Okay? So that's sort of gives us a great position to be in today, where we ask ourselves, are we going to get above yesterday's high, come back down and find support, and look for continuation higher from there? Are we going to head back down? Are we going to fail to do that, which would have us head back down towards the opposite end and get a continuation of the balance here? Okay, it would be 4 days of balance. So both present us with pretty good opportunities, and we should be able to figure it out pretty early on here today. So the ES, man, I messed up by looking at the NQ earlier, doing my analysis. So the NQ is giving us like a beautiful balancing area here. I would keep a close eye on yesterday's high. Getting above there, finding support would be very bullish for continuation. And then I would keep an eye on the base of the single prints below. If the market starts to sell off and look for support there, if that breaks, continuation to the opposite end of balance. Okay, so if 14,120 breaks, look to head back down to 13,920. But if they can get above yesterday's high, 14,268, and find some support up there, continuation to the upside. Okay. All right, so we're 1 minute from open here. We are opening inside the spike from yesterday, which is bullish. So once again, we're looking to see, can the market get above yesterday's high, then come back down and find support? The base of that spike, as it did in the overnight, should act as support here if we come back down and test it. If that breaks, same thing as the NQ. I would look to target the base of the single prints at 44.1250 as support, and if that breaks, heading down towards yesterday's lows. As part of the balance, overnight inventory last night was completely neutral. We literally closed just a few points away from where we opened. So we're not necessarily expecting any counter auction, which means, you know, the buyers or the sellers have chance to take control first thing this morning. Good morning, Scooball and Sanju. David Glass, good to see you. Dean in the house, welcome. MW, good to see you. Scooball, spike up in the ES. Yep, that was a spike in today yesterday, and we did open inside it. So that is bullish for today. Chief, good morning to you. They're not that positive. That's not that big of a deal. Scooball's question, why are the ticks so positive? So once again, for those of you that are just joining us, welcome, welcome. Please push that thumbs up button. Really helps out the channel. Bring in some more people. But we had a previous 3-day balance area over here. We created a new 3-day balance area over here. And so we have a chance today to break back into that previous balance area, which would increase the odds of rotating to the opposite end. The thing that would get us into the trade is getting above yesterday's high and then the market coming back down and finding support. That would tell us it's done with this balance area and it's ready to take another attempt at this one. And that increases the odds of the rotation to the opposite end. We are looking for support at 44.3950. Which was the spike up yesterday. And if that fails, we might find support, you know, inside the overnight range here. So maybe like 44.31-ish. But if that breaks, then 44.12. And if that breaks, then the lows from yesterday. But the move yesterday was very bullish. Closed with a spike up, which is bullish. And we opened inside that spike, so a little more bullish than neutral. JT, good morning to you. John in the house. Elon offered to buy all of Twitter. Yeah, dude. Elon making moves. You got to give the guy credit. At least he's not boring. David V, good morning to you. Scooball. Ronald, good morning to you. Design Knob, we got some numbers coming out at 10 a.m. Thank you for the heads up. Okay, so that is slightly bullish to see. We are pushing above yesterday's high. We also have value overlapping to higher. So now what we'd like to see is the market pull back down to this area. Whoa. To pull back down to this area in here and find support. Right around 44.48. That would be bullish for continuation. We also have a little bit of a low volume node, only 119 contracts there. Slightly increases the odds. The market needs to backfill that a little bit. All the more reason to wait for support. Screwball, correct. That high is now weak because it is exactly the same as the overnight high. A weak high just increases the odds that we'll head back up there and get a few ticks higher. At some point. Dean, I'm done. Happy Easter. That was quick. Market's been open for 6 minutes. All good, man. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Choclo, morning to you. T-Bay NQ getting smacked at the VWAP. Okay, so yeah, NQ failed to find support at the base of the spike. It's still all right inside the overnight range here. But what you have to keep in mind is if they're not ready to break out above the balance area, it increases the odds they're heading to the opposite end. It's also worth noting we left behind a weak low yesterday on the Q. All right, so we're looking for support right here at yesterday's high on the ES. Should see the market keep those ticks above the zero line. If the bulls are to take the reins here. Yeezy, morning to you. Welcome. Caffeine, good morning. Good to see you. All right, well, we didn't find support at yesterday's high on the ES. That's why you wait for the pullback and don't FOMO. So once again, it's still safe inside the overnight range. Looking for buyers to defend. And we got support waiting at 44.39.50. Okay, looking for support right here around 39.40-ish. All right, NQ breaking its overnight low is a little bit bearish. So next major support, 14.120, the base of those single prints from yesterday. If that one breaks, you're looking at a look above and fail of the balance area, which would target the opposite end and that weak low we left behind yesterday. But this is still strong support, so got to wait for that to break first. Screwball, look above and fail. Yeah, like I said, it's still too early to make that call here on the ES. It looks like it on the Q. But the buyers still have a chance to defend here on the ES. Tuttle overnight inventory was long or short. It was neither. It was completely neutral. Why do I say that? Well, for one thing, it's a bell-shaped curve. So that's a sign of rotation, of uncertainty. And it opened at 42 and closed at like 44. So it really went nowhere, neither long nor short. The overnight just spent the evening picking each other's pockets. Man, the spike's beginning to fail here. Things are getting bearish. Next potential support is 33. If we break the overnight low at 44.29, I'd feel pretty confident about a move down to the base of the single prints up at 44.12. So if we break the overnight low from there to there, and then if we break this support down to yesterday's lows as a look above and fail. So this is the buyer's last chance to defend here. We also have on the ES, we have the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles for just the regular trading hours. That is also potential support right around that overnight low. NQ also about to push into those single prints, 14.120. Looking for support there. Aviv Y33, just because it's the largest volume node, right? So we can see in the overnight, they ran out of sellers down here in this area. So I say to myself, if they're going to find support in this area, where will it likely be? I look over, I see the cumulative volume over here. It's a little hard to read there. Hold on, let me zoom out. You can see the largest node of cumulative volume is right there. That's also where the POC from a couple days ago was. So that looks like a good area for support. $93 people hanging out. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you. If you don't mind pushing that thumbs up, it is a great way to show the pirate some love. Got to remind that algorithm that we're here and we have no fear and we'll trade the market in front of us, which is getting weaker by the moment. Okay, so we're starting to push through that 20 moving average, which was potential support. Ticks are beginning to trend down. NQ testing that support. All right, I'm bearish. We got ourselves a look above and fail. I'd say next major support for the ES is 44.1250. Gunk, pirate love, pirate love. Wow, wow. Danielle, hello to you. Aaron, the ES is acting like a penny stock. Yeah, it has been for months. All right, once again on the Q, if this support breaks, you increase the odds that you're heading down towards the opposite end of balance, which is yesterday's low. Oh, she's dancing right on the razor's edge. Okay. So the base of those single prints breaking is bearish to see on the Q, as well as breaking the overnight low on the ES is bearish to see. Dean, I'm all done again. All right. Have a great weekend again. One important thing to note when it comes to heading from one end of a balance area to another is it's often tricky the way it does it. It'll make you think it's finding support all day long, and then you just randomly find yourself down at the other end by the end of the day. So at this point, I would describe it like the buyers are trying to defend, but they are not doing a very good job. They're getting support, but not enough to get those ticks above the zero line. Chief, recommendations on avoiding what? Chief, recommendations on avoiding finding yourself at the opposite end of the balance area? Well, you can't do anything about it. It's the market. I mean, so a lot of times what can happen is the very last time you don't make it to the opposite end. So it's like it'll trade from one end to the other, to the other, to the other. And then the one right before the breakout, maybe doesn't need to get all the way to the other end because the buyers do find support inside the range. That happens. But you'll recognize it happening because you'll get strong support and you'll start to reverse the momentum to the downside. For example, start to see the ticks push above zero. But it's like yesterday, right? I wasn't trading yesterday, but if you expand out the profile, it felt rotational AF in the morning, rotational AF in the afternoon, right? Probably felt a million times like it needed to pull back down here and fill those single prints all day long. And then by the time they get up here at the end of the day, we're all the way at the opposite end of balance, right? It just kind of does that. It's like rotational. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. And then boop, end of day, we're all the way up here. I could see something just like that today, the opposite direction. I just said that out loud because it's what I was reminding myself in the moment. Because I was like, wait a second, we broke the overnight low. We broke the base of the single prints on the NQ. Why didn't we get a bunch of panic selling? And then instantly I was like, well, you don't get panic selling. That's not how balance works. You get grind. You get a slow grind to the opposite end. And how do you avoid being fooled? I mean, it's a tough question. If you're like a swing trader who's going to, try to stay in the trade all day, it's tough, man. It's tough in those moments to stay in it. That's almost like you have to just walk away and leave it. Put in your stop, put in your take profit, and just stop watching. Philip, good morning to you. Welcome. All right. Well, so this puts me in a complicated position because I am still bearish on the day. I still think we're going to head lower here. But at the moment, they are finding support. We got the ticks back above the zero line. So I'm still bearish and looking to go short. But we may get a push up into the halfback or even up towards the open around 44.45 first. I suppose I'll go back to neutral if we get through both the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles, which should now act as resistance, and the halfback. Greetings, Phoenix. Good to see you. Aviv, it looks to me that if the NQ will be fixed, the market will go higher. Risk on with the Russell. I wouldn't fight a look above and fail until you get some kind of signal. It's a pretty potent thing for the market to do. Okay, so the initial balance is now to the downside. That is bearish to see. Okay, next support is 44.1250 for the ES. Phoenix, I thought OPEX was tomorrow. I didn't think that was affected by the market being closed. Oh, okay, today is the options expiry. Oh, okay. Trading Donkey, the number of brigade members blowing up their accounts repeatedly is too damn high. I know, man. S&P Addict posted something in the Discord the other day where he was like, somebody went online and complained about you can't make money doing this. And I just felt a need to respond. And then he puts like a paragraph where he shows you like the response that he gave to this person. And I read it and I just laughed. I was like, man, I love the effort. I send this email like at least once a week. But the problem is people don't learn from being told. They just don't. They only seem to learn from feeling the pain of making the mistake themselves. I've had so many people email me and like explain their situation, and I offer them advice like try paper trading for a couple months, and they refuse to do it. And then they lose more money, and then they email me again, oh, I lost more money. And I'm like, why didn't you paper trade? I told you to. Trading Donkey risk management video when I've tried twice now to record that. It's a cursed video. The first time I recorded it, I went back and watched it later, and I had my lazy eye was all over the place, so the footage was unusable. Then the second time I recorded it, the SD card malfunctioned, and I lost the footage. So that video's cursed. It may never happen. Jason, I appreciate that, brother. That means a lot. J Trader, what will be the other end? You're asking value area. I think you mean balance area. Yeah, I don't have an exact level for you, but I would say yesterday's low is pretty safe. Maybe a little bit above it, maybe like 43.92. That is also what is suspicious, by the way, about the fact that the NQ left that weak low behind yesterday. Unfinished business at this end of a balance area. Probably wants to get a little more two-sided trade in there. Trading Donkey, POC higher, value inside yesterday. Sure. I do reckon at this point, though, to get value overlapping to lower on the ES, we'd have to get to yesterday's low. This really does feel like one of those slow melt days where all day long it's going to be tough, and then we're just going to randomly find ourselves at the opposite end of balance at the end of the day. That's the vibe I'm getting. Basically very similar to yesterday, but the opposite direction. With the resistance that we got earlier, that big cumulative node, I think it's safe to say if we get through half back, I'll change my mind. If we get through 44.35 to the upside, I'll look at a potential breakout. But until then, my assumption is we're heading to the opposite end of balance. As that's just what markets like to do. Greg, do you see the 50 daily moving average as actionable? 44.14.5. You know, I didn't even look at it. I don't see the 50 daily moving average there. I see it like all the way up at 44.43. Oh, God damn. One of those days, man. There we go. I was analyzing the NQ this morning for the ES. I'm looking at the 15-minute candle for the daily. My shit is all out of whack. Yeah, looks like it's acting as support right now. That's bullish to see. Will it hold, though? The look above and fail is probably a little more potent. I will say, though, if we find support there and then we break out above the balance off of that and break through this downtrend, like that'll be a nice juicy long if we can break through all of that to the upside. At the very least to the top of the other balance. But one step at a time. Superstar, I found this channel through YouTube. At first, I thought I was listening to Peter Resnicek. That's who I learned from, so it would make sense that I sound similar. Yeah, my mentors were Peter Resnicek and Jim Dalton. So what I'm asking myself right now are the people that are buying in here right now. You know, we got bad taper on the low, so we need some more two-sided trade down there. And we got our last major support right here at 44.12. So what will happen to these buyers if this level breaks? I bet they get squeezed out of their longs. Aviv, what is the bad taper that you said? So at the bottom of a range, we like to see the volume like fade off. This is kind of okay, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. But above it, you've got 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, all of this. So you want to kind of just see it fade off. Like you got up here, you got 4,000, 2,000, 1,000, 900, 500, right? It's like slowly fading out, tapering off on the volume. That's what you like to see at a higher low. It's not that big of a deal, but it's worth noting. Waiting to see if these ticks get slapped down again. Trading Donkey. Thank you, brother, for hyping it. Yeah, feet pics in the Discord, dude. And I hope those buyers just took their chance to get some profits. Because if not, when 44.12 breaks, they're going to be very uncomfortable. Boy, it's a super exciting move here, isn't it? Come on, market. Just break. You know you want to. Okay, so we're starting to see that exactness once again. Short-term traders piling on at an exact level. All right, well, we're 2 minutes from printing the C period. So just to leave you all with where I'm at today. So if we do break 44.12, as I've been talking about all day, I think the target is the opposite end of balance down here around yesterday's low. I don't know that we'll go any further than that. I think we'll probably find support there. But of course, if those levels start to break and the market comes up and finds resistance, that is bearish for continuation to the downside as a breakout of balance, to the downside, which would be very bearish for continuation. But I don't think that's what would happen. I would think we'd come down here and find some support, just like we did yesterday. And of course, the alternative is if the market is able to push its way back through all this resistance up here, get back above the half back. Let me just zoom in so I can see that level. 44.35. If they're able to get back above there, they could attempt the breakout once again. And we would treat it the same way we did this morning. Look for support. Look for the market to push above the high from yesterday and then find support in there. That would be bullish for continuation to the upside. But as long as we stay below half back here, I believe we're on a slow grind towards yesterday's low. That's my 2 cents for what it's worth. I will not be live streaming tomorrow because of Good Friday, but we'll be back on Monday morning. Thank you, Rocket. All right, so with the printing of the C period, we left behind some single prints here in the B period. Those are likely to backfill, and we will look for resistance right there at 44.2450 for continuation to the downside. Dewan. Okay, so that's the backfilling of those single prints, getting some resistance. And of course, if the C period breaks the B period low, breaks that initial balance to the downside, the market will also be one time framing lower, which would be bearish. So there's a lot of reasons to visit the opposite end of balance here today. And remember, this is one of those concepts that most retail traders don't understand. And that's why we'll get that weird slow grind down, because they'll be trying to buy support all day long, not knowing where it's ultimately headed. All right, have a great weekend, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday morning. If you're in the brigade, let's ride.